Inclusion, Issue 7, June 2014, the Accessible Information Solutions newsletter. With approximately 1 in every 5 Australians experiencing print disability, we offer information, advice and solutions to connect, empower and realise social inclusion. Welcome to Issue 7 of Inclusion. The articles in this issue are Optus Say Yes with Vision Australia, Fit, Healthy and Accessible with Weight Watchers, Experiencing the DeafBlind World, Interview with Nota, Tip of the Month, Team News, Au revoir, not goodbye from Charlotte, Event, Mornings of Celebration, and Contact Us. To find out more, you can connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, via our website, email, Google+, and LinkedIn. There are links in the email version of the newsletter, or listen to the last part of this recording for full web addresses.
Optus Say Yes with Vision Australia. Accessible Information Solutions at Vision Australia have developed a breakthrough in delivering online content to people who are blind or have low vision. This has been achieved by developing an innovative solution that involves bundling 3G wireless broadband internet technology into specially designed Digital Accessible Information System players, or DAISY players. The player connects directly to Vision Australia's iAccess online library to access audio content. The device is simple to use and the user does not need a computer or internet connection. This is great news, as it has been identified that lack of confidence, ability, motivation and affordability all present barriers that limit online uptake for many people in the print disability sector. Currently, Accessible Information Solutions provides content to approximately 18,000 people with a print disability across Australia. This material is typically distributed on compact disc via traditional post. The new delivery system offers benefits to the user such as immediacy of use at any location and increased access to content. It also provides new opportunities such as access to newspapers, timely delivery of newsletters, and important alerts. There are also reduced operational costs and environmental benefits which will reduce the overall Accessible Information Solutions carbon footprint. This major initiative has been made possible through key strategic partnerships. Shinano Kenshi, Plextalk, in Japan, have worked very closely with AIS in the design and adaptation of playback devices, enabling them to accept a 3G module. Optus have also provided affordable 3G or 4G internet access with the Optus mobile network, which reaches 98.5% of the Australian population. Optus employees have also contributed to the project in a practical way by volunteering to assist with the player conversions. Vision Australia thanks Optus and Shinano Kenshi, Plextalk, for their positive involvement in the project. The rollout of the new technology will take place over the next few years, and Inclusion will provide updates on progress on this Australian world first.
Keep on running, mister. Keep on running, sister.
Fit, healthy and accessible with Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers continues its accessibility initiative for blind and vision-impaired members. Weight Watchers International, United States, boldly announced their commitment to making its websites, mobile applications and print initiatives more accessible and inclusive for its members and subscribers with visual impairments back in June 2013. In so doing, they've been building stronger ties with their community, specifically through the print access area with the provision of vital information in Braille, large print and audio. Ensuring a high level of engagement and convenience for consumers is extremely important to us, said Catherine Ulrich, Senior Vice President of WeightWatchers.com. We hope that our accessibility efforts empower those with visual impairments to better manage their food environment and establish daily routines that can become long-term health habits. Closer to home in Australia, over the last few years, Weight Watchers' commitment to accessibility is never more evident than the work they undertake with the Accessible Information Solutions team at Vision Australia in the production of alternative format materials to support members as they start and continue their weight loss journey. We're truly delighted that people with a vision impairment can access and benefit from all the great resources, tools and information that Weight Watchers offers. After all, we should all aim to stay fit and healthy.
Experiencing the DeafBlind World. Many Australians find it hard to imagine what it would be like to experience a major sensory loss, let alone more than one. Yet there are many people within our communities who live with multiple sensory disabilities, such as people who are deaf-blind. DeafBlind World is a specialised training program suitable for people of all professions and sectors, developed and presented by people with deaf-blindness. In one short single session, trainees will learn experimental techniques to help them communicate and improve their engagement with people who are deaf-blind. The techniques may be particularly helpful for people working within the education, health and community sectors, government, banking, and the arts, recreation and travel industries. The course is run by Deaf-Blind Victorians, a self-advocacy group run for and by people with deaf-blindness. They stand for inclusion, integration, access, and the right to self-determination. Vision Australia is proud to be assisting deaf-blind Victorians by providing Braille embossing on their informative and promotional materials. Braille is a vital means of communication for someone who has a hearing impairment in addition to blindness or low vision. For this small but important group, audio is not the answer. For further information about the DeafBlind World training course, email deafblindadvocacy@gmail.com.
Well, today I'm joined in the studio by Boletta and Stefan, representatives from Nota in Denmark. Hi, Boletta. You popped into Vision Australia today to have a look at our online service. So we thought we'd have this chat with you that we can share with our listeners, and thank you very much for making the time in your schedule. But first off, can you tell us a little bit about Nota?
Yes, and Nota is the Danish National Library for people with print disabilities. So we have our users are both blind and partially sighted, dyslexics, and so forth. We have a lot of different users in various ages. And the number is 53,000 users, I think it is. So yeah, quite a large range, and 15,000 of those are under 20 years of age. So it's quite, I guess, different from Vision Australia.
Very much so. We certainly have an older client base here, but there are some similarities to our library service that we offer here as well, I've noticed. But what is your role specifically, Boletta, here at Nota?
Well, my role is that I'm an anthropologist, and I work in the research and development department. So in my daily assignments, I do user studies a lot, qualitative and quantitative. And that's what I'm used the most time on, and they're also developing new strategic networks.
So sort of analysing your systems and seeing how you can better reach your client base, or who is using the client base and things like that? Or
Yeah, it could be like that. It's analysing our internal systems, it could be, and also developing in a user-driven way. So going and observing and interviewing our users to find out how the web app should look like, or something like that.
Terrific. That's great. It's all encompassing. And Stefan, you are a production assistant or worker?
Yes, I work in markup, so I make sure that printed material is converted accurately and properly to various digital formats that are accessible via either text-to-speech or even human narration, or in Braille.
Have you noticed any similarities at all between our production departments with the ones that you're familiar with at home?
Certainly we have, although the major difference seems to be that a lot of work here at Vision Australia is carried out by volunteers, whereas we have mainly our own staff.
Terrific. Now, we live in a world of information these days, but a lot of this information isn't accessible for a large proportion of the population who are print disabled. Can you tell us a little bit about the state of play of accessible information in Denmark and some of the Nordic countries?
Well, we operate under a copyright exemption. So for our library services, we are allowed to reproduce any existing book in an accessible format, sort of without breaking copyright law. That means that our users have access to even books which are not commercially available in accessible formats.
That's terrific. That's really good. So it really does kind of, copyright is such a barrier to our accessible production services. So that's really interesting to hear. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, Boletta, at all?
I could add that about 8 months ago, we got this assignment from the Ministry of Education to produce all and lend out all educational material which is needed for our members who are students. So yeah, we do that, and that has kind of changed the whole organization a bit because we've got more employees and other formats to produce as well. But that's, the users can go online on our online library and download the format they need, or they can actually also just call our service or email and just order on demand.
That's terrific. And I know that, web accessibility or, a download program is something that we're working here for towards at Vision Australia. So that's really interesting to hear that Denmark is also, up and running by the sounds of things. Terrific. So what would you feel are the challenges to moving towards a more accessible information world? What do we have to work on?
Oh, I think just now that I mentioned the whole student service thing, I think a challenge is that what we are offering, the formats and so forth, are just what was also offered beforehand from another organization, and might not be the ideal things that we're doing, but it takes a political decision to change that. So I think that's a challenge.
I think in a wider perspective, the main problem is going to be the support of content creators and producers. Ideally, an organization such as Nota should be redundant because all the digitally produced content should already be accessible just by default. And I think that's going to be the issue in the future, to convince content producers that they need to consider accessibility of their products.
Could you quickly tell us perhaps some of the formats or the format range that you guys are currently producing with Nota?
Well, we produce audiobooks with human narration, and then we produce a range of ebook formats that are available for reading with text-to-speech or refreshable braille displays. Then we produce a certain amount of hard copy braille. And for the student materials, we have some PDF documents that sort of resemble the original books, but that's a special format for school materials.
Terrific. So what next for your organization, for Nota? Where do you hope to see yourselves or your influence on making information accessible in Denmark over the next few years?
Well, one of the things that we're looking at right now is something that you're actually doing now. That is streaming audiobooks on Daisy players. So what we're going to do is that we're going to do some user studies back home on how the elderly people, blind and visually impaired, how they can use these devices, and if it works for them, and what we can do to make sure that they can use it in the future.
So has any research been undertaken so far to see how this is going to work for your clients and your users over there? Or are you at the start of the process of investigating, making a transition to a streaming web player and things like that?
We're actually about to do the user studies, so when I go home, I'll do it. And before that, we did a review of what various other countries have been doing, and that's how I at least got in contact with Vision Australia. So because I think it's very important that we share knowledge, even though that what what's working here in Australia might not work at all in Denmark or the other way around, but still it's nice to exchange knowledge.
Terrific. It's been a pleasure to have you tour our facilities today. And just finally, you've come to Vision Australia and you see what we're working on. What information are you hoping to sort of learn from what we do over here that you might be able to take back home or anything?
I think just in general to have an idea of how things are done in other countries.
Well, from my perspective, I find it very interesting to hear about people's experiences with how to do user studies with this particular user group of blind and visually impaired people. Because you might have to consider other things, and I heard some presentations about that. That's really what I want to learn more about. And
Well, thank you very much for coming into the studio today and having a chat with us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your visit here at Vision Australia. So, Stefan and Boletta, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tip of the month. Do you ever have to provide written or verbal descriptions of visual materials for people who are blind or have low vision? Sometimes it can be hard to know where to start. One important thing to remember is not to be tempted to interpret the visual information or make assumptions. Simply state what the image shows. For example, it is better to say, "The girl is frowning," rather than "The girl is sad." A straightforward description is not only easier for the reader or listener to comprehend, but also allows them to reach their own interpretation, just like someone who is absorbing the image visually.
Team News. Au revoir, not goodbye, from Charlotte.
The more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. Dr. Seuss. Like many parents with young children, I love snuggling up at night with my kids for a great book read at bedtime. I believe that, like people, books often find us at times when we need them most, and their messages can sometimes be subtle and take a while for us to hear, or they may indeed shout at us off the page and hit us bam between the eyes, and life is never the same again. The power of the word is indeed more mighty than any sword. Thankfully, over the last year, I've worked with the wonderful team at Vision Australia's Accessible Information Solutions, who are committed experts and passionate advocates in all facets of accessible print solutions. They continue to seek sustainable solutions to accessing valuable information that impacts on individuals' ability to positively participate in all aspects of their lives. The time has come for me to say a fond farewell as I move on to other opportunities to support the growth of the small business community in Melbourne. I've had the pleasure of supporting a diverse range of projects with accessible solutions, from the magnitude of the official guide to the federal election for the blind and low vision community Australia-wide, to essential patient information for hospital discharges. From the Sydney New Year's Eve celebrations and Sydney Festival guides to local community acting groups, in-flight safety guides, restaurant menus, bank statements and tax guides, and everything in between. Information access is critical, and while a large proportion of our community is not yet online, the role that accessible information solutions plays is crucial to government departments, education institutions and corporates alike, who must ensure that their messages are reaching all those in the community. If I may be so bold as to borrow a wonderful line from the Lorax, unless someone cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. And the great news for you is you have an awesome team from Accessible Information Solutions that does care. From the 1st of June, to ensure you are reaching the 1 in 5 Australians with a print disability, you can continue to contact Accessible Information Solutions at printaccess@visionaustralia.org. All the best, and you're helping the world be more print accessible for all.
And a huge thank you to Charlotte from everyone here at the Accessible Information Solutions team.
Event. Mornings of Celebration. To coincide with this year's National Volunteer Week, the 12th to the 18th of May, Vision Australia has once again hosted a morning of celebration at each Vision Australia centre around the country. This is Vision Australia's way of showing appreciation to all the volunteers who support the service and thanking them for their time and effort. Vision Australia's volunteers bring valuable skills, knowledge and enthusiasm into the organisation, which enables services and support to people who are blind or have low vision. Vision Australia currently have around 4,800 registered volunteers. As well as acknowledging volunteers, the Further Education Bursary Awards were also given out as part of the event. Each year, Vision Australia awards grants to tertiary students who are blind or vision impaired for the training and purchase of adaptive technology to assist with further study. The bursaries are a way to assist students who, for financial reasons, would not otherwise be able to purchase adaptive technology, and therefore opens up their opportunities to access further education.
Contact us. Here's how. Email printaccess@visionaustralia.org. Our website, go to www.visionaustralia.org/business-and-print-accessibility-services. And for general information and the latest news, you can connect with us via social media. For Facebook, go to facebook.com/Vision Australia Print Access. Twitter, go to twitter.com/VA Print Access. Google+, go to plus, that's plus, .google.com and search for VA Print Access. And LinkedIn, go to linkedin.com, that's linkedin.com, /company/388547. Thanks for listening to Edition 7 of Inclusion. Inclusion is copyright 2014 to Vision Australia, all rights reserved. You can update your subscription preferences or unsubscribe from this list by emailing printaccess@visionaustralia.org. This edition was recorded in 2014 by Accessible Information Solutions of Vision Australia. Your narrators were
Angus Spence,
Charlotte Gorham,
Deborah Pearce,
Carl Hughes,
and Elaine Carter. Stay tuned for Edition 8.